Okay, here with NFL Hall of Famer Bruce Matthews, who played 19 seasons in the NFL for the Houston Oilers and Tennessee Titans, played an NFL record 296 games, 14 consecutive Pro Bowls. Before that, starred at USC, and more importantly, before that, starred right here at Arcadia High School for the Apaches. Bruce, welcome back. How does it feel to be back on campus?
Thanks. It's great to be here. It's interesting because so many new things here, but so many things that remind me of 35 plus years ago, and it's cool being back, definitely.
You graduated in 1979 from here. What are some of the differences from back then when you went to school here at Arcadia High School to walking through today, 2014?
The biggest thing is the football field and football stadium. Just amazing, the facility that Arcadia has now, and obviously some of the classrooms and the openness of campus. It isn't quite as open as it was back in the day. The lockers, I think, are gone, but it's still pretty much the same. There's something about the angle of the sunlight now, and the kind of sneaky hot it can be here as well.
And a lot of energy on campus today for homecoming. Students are looking forward to it, staff's looking forward to it. Always a big game each year, but tonight even more special with the rededication of Salter Stadium, your former coach. What does tonight mean to you and the rededication that'll happen at homecoming?
I was really blessed to play with a group of guys back in the late 70s, and we had a lot of success on the football field. And most importantly, Coach Salter was the driving influence and the main reason we were as good a team as we were back then. And I think it's something that every one of us guys has taken with us into our 50s now. And he was just a man of integrity and honor. And it wasn't so much what you did, but how you did it. And Coach Salter was all about that. He was hard but fair, and I think lessons that he taught us over 30 years ago have stuck with each of us as we've gotten older. And as some of us have gone on into coaching, I think it's scary almost to think a lot of the stuff that influenced us from Coach Salter even influences younger players nowadays.
What are some of those things that he was teaching back then in the late 70s that you just said that you're bringing today to when you coached that really stuck with you and made an impact and influence for you?
Without question, first and foremost is hard work. We worked hard in practice. Didn't matter what day of the week it was, how bad the smog was, how hot it was. I mean, you were going to get after it in practice, and it didn't matter where you were on the roster. If you were at the top of the roster, at the bottom of the roster, the same expectation was expected from every guy. And it's really, life is about hard work and developing those good habits. And Coach Salter was huge on fundamentals, and that stuck with me over the years as well. And to be honest, there were techniques and fundamentals I learned at Arcadia that I took with me and tried to improve on over the course of my whole football career.
How much did you and some of your teammates from then stay in touch with Coach Salter through the years and kind of reach back to him for maybe advice or just to say hello?
I think we have the blessing of really having a team that stayed close over the years. And we had a teammate, Dave Samardzic, who really embraced the Apache spirit and has done a great job of organizing events for us, whether it's golf tournaments or something like Coach Salter's deal tonight. Even when I played in the NFL, my teammates knew all about Arcadia High School, and they got to know Dave Samardzic as well. And it's something I'm very proud of. I was blessed to play at USC as well, but I consider it a highlight of my career, the time that I spent here at Arcadia and the things that we did on the field, and really the relationships that we have taken over these 30 plus years having been out.
What was it like playing back then? What positions were you playing? I know you're offensive lineman through your NFL career, but played on a lot of different spots on the offensive line. What were you playing back then for Arcadia High School?
We were talking also about my sophomore year. We were a three-year high school back then, and I actually played on the varsity the first game our sophomore year. And Coach Salter brought me in the office the day after our first game and said, hey, you're going to get more, a chance to improve by playing more on the sophomore team. And at the time, it was one of the most devastating, I thought, things of my life. But in hindsight, I'm very thankful that Coach Salter had that foresight to see that, you know, it wasn't good for me to languish on the varsity sideline, but to go and play. But I played offensive and defensive tackle, and I used to do all the long snapping on punts and field goals, and it was a fun time. It was a tiring time because really I think it was when a team scored, whether us or them, on the kickoff return teams, that I wasn't on the field. And so even though I didn't like for teams to score on us, I did enjoy a play or two off.
And you guys had a few good teams back when you were here too. How far did you guys get in the playoffs?
Actually, we went to the CIF finals both years. In '77, Long Beach Millikan got after us pretty good, and we lost in the finals there. And then in 1978, our senior year, we started very slow. And it really, I think, kind of brought us together as a team, because I'd say we were a little bit guilty of reading some of our press clippings from the year before. But in '78, I think we started 0-3 and then went on a roll and went to the finals again and lost in overtime to Compton. And it was a very exciting run. And, you know, it's funny, in hindsight, it becomes bigger because you realize how difficult it is to get to that level. And it's something that I encourage younger players or players who are playing now to just enjoy every bit of the experience, because once it's done, you aren't going to have that opportunity. Unfortunately, football isn't one of those games that allows you to stop playing and come back and play again. And my high school experience, I couldn't imagine being any better other than maybe winning those 2 games. But that being said, it definitely is a highlight of my football career and my life.
So when you look back playing here at Arcadia High School after such a long career, college, NFL, do you have a couple memories that stick out, or what are your thoughts and emotions when you think about playing here at Arcadia High School?
It's funny because although I don't speak every week or even every year to a lot of guys, when we do have that opportunity to get back together, the bond that we had through athletics and specifically through football and those deep playoff runs is something that I think bonds us forever. And we're all, you know, pushing into our mid-50s now, and it's just something that we can talk about now like it was 30-something years ago. And I just take great pride in what we were able to accomplish, and I was very thankful that I was part of it.
What brought you and your family to Arcadia, and what was that transition like?
Yeah, it was interesting. We moved to Arcadia when I was in 4th grade, and actually had moved around a bunch. But I was from North Carolina, a little country town out on the East Coast, and came to Arcadia. And I'll never forget my first high school game. Went to Arcadia, saw the band, saw the uniforms, and it was just, man, I was hooked. And it was just such a cool environment, the buzz in the stands, and it was such a great honor to finally suit up for Arcadia. And to me at the time, I couldn't imagine football being any better. And it was very exciting. I remember, yeah, you could still get the heat during the days, but it always seemed to cool off in the evening during those football games. And just being exhausted after the games, and hopefully enjoying a victory afterwards.
What elementary school did you go to, and what middle school?
Went to Baldwin Stocker Elementary, and then went to First Avenue, but moved a couple times in between there, so it was kind of spotty on both. And then really excited to be able to come here and play my full 3 years at Arcadia. And I took a lot of pride in it. To this day, I'm very proud of the fact where I grew up and the people that I grew up with and the opportunity I had to play at Arcadia.
So you're living in Texas now. When you do get to come back, any favorite hot spots you like to hit?
Gosh, a lot of them have gone away. The Tops Burger over in, can't remember, over in Pasadena over there somewhere. My sister still lives over here. My niece, Ashley Nick and Devin Nick, went to Arcadia High School. So they kept me apprised of everything going on over the years. And, you know, my niece was a very good soccer player here, ended up playing at USC, and she's now playing internationally. So I haven't been out of the loop much. I mean, I'm very aware of what typically is happening at Arcadia. And again, I'm proud of the fact that I grew up here.
And every time you come back, you're generous. You talk to the football team, you talk to the athletes. You're going to talk to the football team before their big game tonight. When you talk to, whether it's Apaches or you're around the country talking to high school athletes who aspire to be you, basically, get to where you got, what is your message and what do you tell them about, you know, life in general and trying to get to that spot?
I think that the thing about football is it teaches you so many valuable life lessons, because we're all going to get knocked down, whether it's on the football field or in life. And it really is a blessing and an opportunity that we shouldn't take for granted. And to be honest, football is not an easy game. It's sweaty, it's hot. A lot of guys don't wash their stuff, so they smell bad. But in general, it's an opportunity, because it truly, hard work does pay off, and you can improve, and it truly is about the fundamentals and going out and trying to get better every day. And just for young guys, like I alluded to earlier, one day this opportunity is going to be over. So don't let some temporary thing interfere with something that you're blessed to play right now. And someday you won't be able to, and you'll look back, man, I wish I had done this or that, and take advantage of the opportunity that you have.
Your NFL family tree is quite impressive. Can you kind of run down who all played in the NFL, who's still there, and kind of the family connection?
Sure. My dad, Clay Sr., played, he was born and raised in South Carolina, played at Georgia Tech, then played with the 49ers in the early to mid-50s. And then my brother Clay and I were a couple of his sons. And my brother Clay played 19 years in the NFL with the Browns and Falcons. He's played the most games by an NFL linebacker. And then I played 19 years in the offensive line. He has two sons in the league, and actually a third, Kyle, played at USC. But Clay the third, who plays for the Packers, the one with the hair and, you know,
we all know Clay.
Yeah, the shtick. And then Casey played at Oregon and now plays for the linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. My second oldest boy, Kevin, is actually on injured reserve. This is his 5th year with Carolina Panthers. He tore his shoulder and had surgery on that. Jake was just the first-round pick with the Atlanta Falcons this past year, and he's getting settled in there and really enjoying that. And then Mikey is he's a junior at Texas A&M down in College Station, Texas, outside of Houston, and he's our starting center there. And then our last boy, Luke, is a freshman in high school down in Texas. So I think that's all of them.
When you think about that, your family members in the NFL, I mean, it's so hard to get there for one person, but to have all those Matthews in the NFL, does it sink in? What is that like?
Really, again, it goes back to the privilege of playing and realize how blessed that we are as a family. And I mean, I'd love to take credit and say, man, I look at all the hard work I did to get this big and to be able to move around like this. But the good Lord has blessed my family. And I would like to give some pat or canned answer that would explain why I was able to play all those games and not get injured. And but God just had a plan for our family, and it's very humbling, and it's something that I don't take lightly.
What was it like playing against your brother in the NFL at that level?
It was really cool. I played in one Super Bowl after he had retired, but he was 5 years ahead of me. He actually played Arcadia for 2 years, and his senior year, we moved back to Illinois. So he didn't graduate from Arcadia High, but he played here 2 years, and they had a couple good teams as well under Coach Salter. But at the time, it was something that I kind of likened to a personal Super Bowl. And we actually played against each other like 23 times. He beat me for a sack one time. And I don't like guys making plays on me, but if somebody had to, I was glad it was my brother. And it was something that, that was the thing that I will say. I was very blessed to do a lot of things that most guys don't have the opportunity to do. And number one, playing against my brother 23 times. And when we played him, he wasn't just some guy on the roster for the opponents. He was like their stud on defense. Yeah. So I was very prideful of the fact that, man, we're playing my brother's team. He's my favorite player in the NFL. And then the opportunity of playing against him during the game. And really, once the game started, it was business as usual. And then even at a couple other things that I was allowed to do, Jeff Fisher, who actually married a Arcadia High graduate, Julie Hageman, he ended up being my head coach with the Titans. Well, he was my college teammate at USC. So here's my head coach, who was my college teammate. And then Mike Munchak, who I played next to for 11 years in the NFL, he became my position coach my last 7 or 8 years, and then he became the head coach of the Titans, and I coached under him until we were unceremoniously canned in January.
It happens, right?
Yes, absolutely. Part of the job.
So when people ask you about a particular play or moment with your NFL career, is there one that people always ask you about, or one that always sticks out for you?
Well, I think that the Super Bowl and the opportunity to play against the Rams back in 2000, that was a great experience. Unfortunately, the old 1 yard short game. Playing against my brother, like I said, was just amazing. And fortunately, we got to do it 23 times. And other than that, it was just those relationships. And I think that's why I appreciate so much my time at Arcadia, because we were a good high school team. I think more than anything, we were a team, and we played well together and played under the schemes that Coach Salter designed, and it really was team first and individual accolades second, and that's why we were successful. But those were the type things that stick with me, those relationships and the opportunity to play with so many great people and players.
One of the most analyzed, dissected plays, Music City Miracle. I'm sure you get asked about that a lot. What are your recollections about that play?
I wasn't real optimistic prior to the play, and even as the play went along, it was it's like, man, that was a forward lateral, and so I was very guarded and didn't want to get my spirits up. But the longer they delayed with the replay and kind of figuring out what was going to happen with it, I go, man, we're going to win this game, and it truly was something kind of unparalleled in the league, and it just, again, it was one of those things that our team had been through so much, and we had been very average for a lot of years, and then we had the great run prior to that Music City Miracle play. Then all of a sudden it looks like it's over, and then it works out, and it's just like, oh my goodness. And we ended up going to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, we lost there at the end.
So when you left here, Arcadia High School, you went to USC. What was the recruiting process like, and why USC?
My brother Clay had played there, and again, we had gone to the games, and they were rolling back then. And I was very much a fan, and the fact that my brother went there probably sold it to me 99% in terms of making a decision. And then really, they won the national championship the year before my senior year, and when they asked, it was a no-brainer. I mean, I really, I felt like, well, my father had said, hey, you want to find out if you're the best, then go play with the best. And the cool thing about it was less than an hour down the road, and the second they asked, I said yes. So there wasn't a lot of decision making involved.
You mentioned you coached in the NFL. Any aspirations to continue coaching at that level or any level?
I truly enjoy the coaching part of the game. I had no intention of getting involved in the NFL because of my relationship with Mike Munchak. I'd seen the hours that they work, and I started coaching my kids in youth football and kind of went up the levels with them and coached in high school. And then I had played in the Hula Bowl with Gary Kubiak, the coach of the Texans back in the day, and started a conversation with him, and they hired me on, and then Mike Munchak gets a job with the Titans. I ended up being the O-line coach there, but I really enjoy it. I have a real passion for the game, and I think there are things fundamentally that you can do to really enhance your opportunity to succeed. And truly, like I said earlier about Coach Salter's message, I mean, it's hard work and fundamentals and staying the course. And yeah, I could definitely see myself doing it some more.
Final question for you, as you're sitting here on homecoming for the big game tonight. What are your kind of thoughts and emotions and expect tonight, and just the rededication of Salter Stadium and just everything that'll happen and here this evening?
I think the biggest thing is it's so easy, and I can so endorse what they're doing with the stadium with Coach Salter, because he was the type man and the type character and the type person that you hope your kids get coached by, because you know, it wasn't about favorites for him. It wasn't about it wasn't about him. You know, it truly was about team. And you know, aside from that, the homecoming issue, I mean, high school football is about emotion and excitement, and homecoming just adds to it. So I expect Arcadia to roll tonight.
Arcadia High School NFL Hall of Famer, class of 1979. Bruce Matthews, thanks for stopping by, spending some time with us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.